Alright, I got a little bit more done tonight. Basically fabricated the remaining bits of the other servo mount. So you can see the servo's now mounted. You can actually see I also kind of from the start moved the holes over a little bit, so the servo has a bit of a mechanical advantage here. That's just connected to that linkage, so pretty straightforward. From there, you know, this isn't going to be the permanent wiring, but I wanted to be able to test everything out, so I fabbed up these little adapters using some header, ran it to some extra ribbon cable. I'm actually doubling up the power wires through the ribbon cable because it's fairly small gauge. Yeah, it just comes back here to this board. Then I've got some other wire, blah 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 blah, and I'm actually running this through the battery eliminator circuit, or the power supply. So it's running off one of those old LiPos that I had gotten when I was using the power converters. This little guy right here is just a battery alarm, so it hooks up to the balance lead and tells me when I get below 3 volts. I think it's 3 volts. Yeah, and then standard Pro Mini, you know, leading to those two wires, and since I'm powering this board, you know, everything's sharing a common ground. So give it a shot. And again, I'm going to be oscillating back and forth in both directions at about 20 hertz this time. 30 degrees sweep for each servo, so this one will move a little bit less. You'll see what happens. So again, I got a little bit impatient and I didn't put any ramping in. And this servo doesn't seem terribly happy, but you know what? He's fine. I'm not worried. It does shake around a lot. It's pretty dramatic. You can kind of see a top view of the propeller moving pretty quickly. Yeah, so I'm pretty anxious to see what happens when I start actually applying thrust. You know, obviously the gyroscopic effects of, you know, the somewhat small but still substantial mass of these propellers and the bodies of the motors rotating at 11,000 RPM is it's going to make the servos have to work quite a bit harder to move the motors. So we'll see what happens then. But for right now, things are working.